Limpopo's MEC for Sports, Arts and Culture, Nakedi Kekana, has wished Miss South Africa Ndavi Nokeri well as she ventures into the Miss Universe Pageant. The event will be held in the US in about a week's time. Nokeri, who hails from Tzaneen, will represent South Africa at the 71st Miss Universe Pageant. MEC Kekana joins us now for more. Mum Kekana, appreciate your time this afternoon. Now, one of the things that you sent, in fact, in your message that you sent to Nakedi before she went out, was it just walk with confidence and remember those girls. How important do you feel is that message?
Thank you so much, Hugo, and let me also take this opportunity also to thank the viewers. And as the MEC from the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, also representing the province and our national at large, we'd like to congratulate our talented, beautiful young lady, Ndavi Nokeri, who qualifies to compete in Miss Universe in the upcoming 2 weeks. I think on the 15th of January. She'll be in the United States of America to represent us as the province and also as the country, and we want to wish her well. And we are very much optimistic that our young girl is going to make it. We are saying this precisely because we had an experience, because in particular, our beautiful young pageant from Limpopo. Remember, Hugo, we once scooped the award for Miss South Africa and be crowned as Miss South Africa. With a little young girl who happens to hail from Vembe district. I think as Limpopo, we're doing quite very well because our districts are represented. Almost 70% of our districts are represented. We were able to crown Miss South Africa for Tsudufadzo Musida, who happens to hail from Vembe district, and subsequent to that, we had Bokang Monjani, who comes from Capricorn district, and today we have Ndavi Nokeri from Mopani district. Hence, we are saying we are very much optimistic that we are going to emerge victoriously, and also that as part, of course, of promoting the nation building and social cohesion, we have our young women, Tzaneen Julie, who was also crowned Miss Universe. Hence, we are saying we are very much optimistic, and we are quite sure that also Ndavi Nokeri is going to make it.
Now, Ndavi is competing with 79 other girls, so it is going to be pretty competitive. Now, what assistance have you given in terms of her preparation ahead of January 14th?
I think the support is at an advanced stage. We are doing quite well as the province together with the National Department of Sports, Arts and Culture. Precisely because as part, of course, of partnership between government, business and labor, we are doing very well in that area. We were able to link them with various sponsors, and remember, we have the South African franchise holders for the beauty pageants, for all the major events, of course, for Miss Universe and World, Miss International, and also Miss Earth. And they're doing a tremendous job to make sure that they give a proper support to those beauty pageants in Limpopo and in our country in particular.
Now, you've talked about her hailing from Limpopo. How important or significant will it be if she wins for Limpopo and South Africa? Our
young girl who hails from Limpopo and South Africa is going to represent us very well. And we are giving them a huge task to make sure that when coming back, they must be able to impart the very same knowledge, potentials and skills to the young girls, in particular in the rural town where she comes from, because she comes from the dusty rural town of Gavaza village. And I think the first task for her to represent us as Limpopo and also as the South African, as the continent as a whole, We wish her well and make sure that when she comes back, she'll be able to make a tremendous stride towards the empowerment of other young women in our province and also in South Africa, our country.
Now, the first South African to win a Miss Universe was Margaret Gardner back in 1978. And there have been a few others, Demi Thibault in 2017, Zwazibini Twins in 2019. Now, what lessons would Ndavi Nokeri have picked up from the previous winners?
I think Ndavi has learned a good lessons because most of the young women who made it for Miss Universe, I think they have common objectives in mind to make sure that they play a pivotal role to make sure that they improve the lives of the people and they improve those lives of the people to the better, because their main focus is to zoom at the vulnerable groups, the poorest of the poor, women, children, and the people with disabilities. And that, I think, is the lessons that you'll be able to learn from those predecessors, and in particular to make sure that she make a tremendous strides in make sure that she improves the entrepreneurial skills, of course, to make sure that as part of the cultural and creative economy, we are able to integrate the economy with the SMMEs and make sure that we create the cooperatives which will then be able to make sure that they do well in terms of advancing the economy of this country and also to improve the lives of the people and address the issue of the unemployment that we are facing.
Ma'am Kekana, I'm not sure if you've had a chance to look at the national dress that she'll be wearing on the night of the 14th. Amongst other things, it's almost like she's carrying wings on her back. Half of it is the flag of South Africa, and the other is the 54 countries of Africa. Now, this regard, she's not only carrying the hopes of South Africa, but of the entire continent on her shoulders when she goes out to perform on the 14th.
Yes, it's very true that she's going to represent us as a country and as a continent and also across the globe. And we wish her very well on her endeavor to make sure that she's crowned as Miss South Africa and make sure that she's able to plow back to the very same areas that you have mentioned, the country, the continent, and make an impact, of course, on the global economy.
Ma'am, final question. Gender-based violence has been a thorn in the flesh of South Africa. In fact, President Cyril Ramaphosa has described it as a second pandemic after COVID. Now, when young women such as Ndavi are out on the national, global platform, if you will, they have an opportunity to represent the country, represent women, and also send a message. Now, how much are we doing around pageants such as this and young women who are representing the country to put out these messages against gender-based violence?
Yes, I think as young women like Ndavi Nokeri, they were doing quite well even before they were crowned as Miss Limpopo. They were doing quite well to make sure that they ran the campaign for gender-based violence, which of course was named by the president of this country as the second pandemic. We have seen them organizing women in various sectors to make sure that they empower them with the issue of gender-based violence and make sure that they break the violence, they record the cases, because the government has got good policies to make sure that they are on their side. They must just break their silence and make sure that they approach various law enforcement agencies whenever they were affected by the gender-based violence.
Ma'am Kekana, I appreciate your time this afternoon. Limpopo MEC for Sports, Arts and Culture, speaking ahead of Miss South Africa becoming Miss Universe, hopefully on January 14th.